All right, we are live. All right, let me share this out to let people know that I'm live. Share, send it through Messenger. Let's see. SPGS. All right. And let me hit share to. All right, one more person I want to send this to. If I can find his name. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing amazing, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Today's actually been a really good day for a change.
Good.
Had a good day at work. Thanks for everybody that's I've already got two people like the live. All right, thank you. Uh if y'all would share this out, share, tag your friends, and let's see, let me click this that way I can read the comments. If y'all would share this out. Whoa, that was loud. All right, and now one more place. We gotta go look for the video. Let's see right here. How's everybody doing? Oh, we got two people watching. Let's get 10 people in here. If we get 10 people, that'll be amazing. If we get more than 10 people, that's a blessing. All right.
I'm sure they'll all come in.
Yeah, let's see. Edit audience. Leonard Phillips. How you doing, Leonard Phillips? Good
What's up, bro?
to have Leonard Phillips in here. Thanks for watching from YouTube. I appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
All right. And all right, so I'm live with the drummer for Struggle Jennings, Kareem Thompson. You want to tell about your history in drumming and
Well, it's pretty simple. Grew up playing in church, and from church ended up playing, secular music, which landed me through different genres with different artists, and landed me into the country world now.
awesome? Let's see. I'm gonna pin your website here. Let's see. Let's see. ST and check out his website here. Oh, let me see. KR. Oh, well, the website link didn't. Let's see. Let me redo that. How's everybody doing? Y'all let us know where you're watching from. All right, let me
It should
repin
be
it.
good. I see it down there. So if they want, they could type it in or whatever.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh no, don't do that. Yeah, I hate it when this StreamYard does a little different when I go to type stuff. So you want to talk about how long have you been doing music?
since I was two. Since I was
Wow.
2 years old, started getting into this drum thing, this drum life, and then from
That's
there, I was about like 10. Started like playing in church. I could play like offering, and then was fortunate enough to play for the youth choir and stuff like that, and till I could be able to play the whole service myself. So yeah, so that's what it was like growing up. Just church, church, church.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Check out. All right, let's see website here. There we go. Paste. There we go. Outlawdrummer.org is the website. And
Yeah.
if anybody wants to book you for a show, they go to your website, right?
Yep. You go to my website, and it just takes you to my Instagram, email, all the little cool stuff, little all the tours and stuff I've done, and different little cool things. And it's not
That is
just tours
awesome.
too, lessons and anything, whatever. It's all available there on the website.
That's awesome. It's a really cool website too. I was looking at it earlier, and it's a really top notch website.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Because I've built websites and I hadn't done a lot of them, but just looking at yours, I could tell it was professionally done.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Blair
Did you
Monique.
do it yourself?
No, her name is Blair Monique, and she does like all like the top gospel people flyers and graphics and stuff like that. So I reached out to her. I was just like, I think it's time that I get like a website and stuff like that. And we walked through it, and she made it amazing. I'm super happy with it. Super happy with it.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, so I just pinned it on my personal page and the ministry page.
Got you.
Awesome. So how many shows did y'all do last year?
Ooh, probably like over 100.
Wow. You
Yeah.
were you were busier than a one-armed trombone player.
Yeah, man, we did over 100. We did over 100 shows last year. Yeah.
Well, have you ever seen a one-armed trombone player?
No, I
I
haven't.
imagine that'd be pretty busy.
Yeah, yeah, pretty busy. There's a lot of
reminds me of the
that.
reminds me of the drummer for Def Leppard. He's got one arm playing the drums.
Oh yeah, he be killing it. He be killing it though. It's dope.
Did you ever hear his story of how that happened?
Was it like a car accident or something, or am I
Yeah,
off?
so like from my understanding, and I may not be 100% correct on this, but from my understanding, I can't remember his name. Saved my life, but it's an inspirational story. But
Yeah.
he was in a like a convertible Camaro or something back in the day, whatever year it was, and him and his girlfriend were driving somewhere, and he done had one too many to drink and got in a bad wreck, and it almost killed him, and it decapitated his arm. Like they had to take his whole arm off, his left side there, and all he had was just his right hand. Well, the band had then got fed up with him because he was like, from my understanding, like they said he wasn't taking it serious, and they said, "Oh, you're not gonna be with the band much longer." They was fixing to get rid of him while he was in the hospital, and he told him, he said, "No, but let me do this. I'm gonna prove to you that I can change." And he got sober, and his testimony is pretty cool. It's on YouTube, I believe. I believe I watched it on YouTube. But where they interviewed him like last year, the year before, and he's talking about it, and he said, "I'm gonna prove to y'all that I can still drum."
Right,
And
right,
so back then in the '80s, computers were like a huge thing, and they used some kind of computer to help with the drums. And then he still played with his right hand, and he used his feet for the rest, and had the computer right there.
right.
And he ended up being the most phenomenal drummer from the '80s, and still drums to this day. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome. I remember hearing that story like years ago, but Yeah,
It goes to show you
iconic
like,
story.
yeah, it shows you how like God can still use people regardless of what they've gone through.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's amazing. I've been listening to Struggle for several years, and I remember, like, I know you know who the Georgia Boys are, right?
Who the who?
Who the Georgia Boys are?
No, see, I knew nothing about country music at all.
Okay.
Because I'm not even from, I'm not from the South, from Chester, Pennsylvania. So
Oh, that's
I didn't
cool.
know, I didn't know anything about country until, I started playing for a rap group called Eye for an Eye out in Dixon, Tennessee.
I love those guys.
So,
Yeah.
D Ray, David Ray, who wrote Save Me, that's how I got connected with Jelly and Struggle and that whole thing. But I didn't, I didn't know who none of those guys were, or just like really listen to country music like that.
Sure, sure. That's pretty cool because so the Georgia Boys are basically a bunch of rednecks from Georgia, and they've been doing country rap music or hip hop is what they're listed under, which is a spinoff. They've been doing it since 2010, and they got a song called "Waylon's Gone" that they do with the as another group does the same music called "Twang and Round," and
Yeah, I know Twang and
so they did this song called "Songs Waylon's Gone." It's about how it's the most motivational song that one of my favorites. And Derek Thrasher is the name of the lead singer, but he sings about how people told him that he wouldn't make it rap and he wouldn't do this and do that, and then there's a line in there where I'm trying to think. Vernon Roach is the one of the singers for Twangin' Round, and he has a line in that song where it says "free
Burn.
struggle so he can rap about his papa."
Yeah,
And it's a deep line. And then fast forward to all these years later, of course, back then Struggle was incarcerated or whatever, and now he's out. And it just kind of reminded me because that's when I first heard about Struggle Jennings. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And all these years later, like I'm jamming his music, man, I was like, man, I love this stuff. And especially that song, "The Road I Came," I've been playing that song like a lot.
yeah, that's a good record.
And it's pretty cool that this guy is the guy on the drums of all these songs that I listen to by Struggle. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm fortunate
Yeah.
enough to play on a lot of those records, especially during the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, that I actually moved to Nashville, and like since we couldn't tour because the world was like closing down, venues wouldn't let us perform and stuff like that. So Struggle had gave me an opportunity to be able to become his musical director and play on a lot of the records moving forward. So I'm
Wow.
very fortunate to play on a lot of those great songs that he wrote.
That's really cool because, that when that virus hit, it shut down a lot of music.
Oh yeah.
And like, I can remember, um, it was several months, maybe even a year after the virus hit. And
Hmm.
there wasn't nobody touring whatsoever. And so, I'm a member of you ever heard of 7 Day Slumber?
No.
So they're excuse me, my throat's messed up. Oh, they're a Christian rock group,
Okay.
and I'm on their street team. And Joseph Rojas is a lead singer, and I remember at the time that they had a concert, and it was them. It was a Christian rock band called Relent, and they're still doing music, and another group that still does music called The Protest. And it was three Christian rock bands, and there were no bands touring in the world. Well, except for three Christian artists. I went and saw them at a church, and they were playing. It was an outside venue at this church in the big city of Mobile, And I thought to
Hmm.
myself, I said, wow, out of all these bands in the world, ain't nobody touring, but there's three Christian bands that are touring, nothing but God, and it shows you the power of God of what He can do. And when people think that everything's impossible, He makes it the impossible possible.
Oh, yeah. Well, we actually was doing the same thing too, because when the when the pandemic happened, we actually went out. It was to the point like I remember like Jelly and different people calling Struggle phone like, "How are you still out there on the tour bus?" What was happening was every venue we would play, the next day they were getting shut down. So it was like we were just making it every venue all the way
Wow,
until the tour was over. Until the tour was over, we was just making it, man. Like
wow,
it was
that's
wild. It was some crazy times.
and I bet y'all. I mean that. See, that's another powerful story of what God can do. Because the very next day it gets shut down.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
yeah.
how many did y'all do that year?
I'm not too sure. I think we did like two tours in that year. Cause when did the world get shut down? What was it like? What was it like summertime? What was it? Cause it was
Uh, it was around 2020. Um, sometime after February in 2020.
okay. So yeah, we probably didn't get far. We probably just did January, and whenever the world like completely shut down, we was it was done. And then I went to Nashville because Nashville was partying like nothing was going on. So I went there and just it was just so live music every night. Everything was open. Like people was just living life out there. So I went out there for about 3.5 years, 4 years.
So what's it like living in Nashville? How you like it?
It reminded me of like Las Vegas, without the gambling, but for music wise, you know what I'm saying? It's like it was so many opportunities. Like I was, and especially because of the camps that I'm involved with and around, that I was getting so many calls to do. I was like gigging quick, like I've been living there all my life. So the love Nashville has for me is like insane. So it was like every day I literally had something to do. I was going to go support somebody play, or some guys I knew from back home that play with other artists were coming in town to play at Bristol or something. So it was just like clockwork every day, for real, for real. So it was a great time hanging at Struggles every day, really getting to lock in with him and his family, and like really, because you, you never really get hands on with these artists. Like, you barely get their number. You see them at rehearsals and sound checks and the show, and. But as far as like with him, like I was literally like at his house every day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. He had stuff under his tree with my name on it and stuff like that. Like it was just like, so it made me feel like I was home, even though I'm away from my family. But yeah, it was a vibe. Nashville was a super vibe.
That's awesome. Because the times I've been to Nashville, I've only been like once, maybe twice. I think once, and it's unbelievable. Like the music stuff that's in Nashville. There's music. You can find any kind of music.
Yeah.
Whoa, the power just went out here.
In Alabama.
Yes, I'm in Alabama, and we got some really bad weather coming through. They're saying there's some like really strong winds coming tonight too.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I'm glad the power came back on. But yeah, like Nashville, you can find country. I mean, obviously that's the birthplace of country, but you can find anything in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a good time in Alabama too. My first time sinking a canoe was with I don't know if you know Hot Rod.
I don't
Where
know.
he Yeah, he races like motorcycles and stuff. Hangs with Yellow Wolf a lot. He's tatted all the way up, older guy.
Oh, okay. I've probably seen him then. Okay.
Yeah. He has some property out there, and we played a show out there in Alabama. He took us on his property to go canoeing, and we had a good time. Alabama was a good time.
Man, I bet that was awesome. Well, I tell you what, if you so I'm in South Alabama. I'm in a little small redneck town of 1,400 people. And if you ever do a show in South Alabama, you best believe I'm gonna do my best to be there
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
because I want to meet you. And plus, I love his music. And
Yeah,
so, what's it like? What's it like? Because so it is he is Waylon Jennings' nephew or is it grandson?
grand.
Grandson. Okay, I knew it was one of those.
Yeah,
So, what is your favorite type of music?
gospel, man.
Yes.
Yeah, gospel. It's
Yes.
the most difficult. So much that go on with gospel songs, man, and it separates the boys from the men. That's why you know, gospel music prepared me for all genres of music because a whole church service alone, you're playing all different genres, neo soul type beats, rock and roll beats. When they shouting, to me, shouting music is heavy metal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're playing all these different genres. So it kind of just prepared me just to be able to play anything.
That is awesome. So I don't know if Jason's watching or not, but Jason Katz, he's the owner of the radio station that I work with. I volunteer with. I'm the marketing director. So
Yeah,
for those that don't know, and so it's powerful in itself. And the two slogans we use at the radio station, and there's one of them right there. We're scrolling at the bottom. That's the link if anybody wants to listen. But it says where music is therapy. That's one of the slogans, and then the other one is being a beacon of light in the darkness. So that's the way I look at because I listen to Christian music. Like I listen to country rap, but most of the time I'm listening to something Christian music, whether it's Christian rock, Christian rap, or sometimes I listen to Christian worship music. And it's being a beacon of light in the darkness because there's so much garbage out there in this world. People need good music like that.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Music saved my life.
And so what kind of church do you attend?
Um, I just Kojic, Church of God in Christ. But I've played at you know all types of churches, from Baptist to Catholic, you name it. Where I come from, we hustle around, because growing up, that's how you that's how we're getting paid, by playing at different churches and stuff like that. So yeah, but I come from the Church of God in Christ background of
That's
church.
awesome. I go to a Baptist church, and I like uh I like good old gospel music, whether it's Southern gospel or the kind of gospel you play. If it's telling people about Jesus, I'm all for
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
it. Like I like anything that gets you moving and grooving.
Hmm. Hmm.
Have you ever listened to KB?
Oh, actually, me and his drummer are super close.
Really cool, cause
So I went
um
to see them at Bridgestone a couple of years ago. But yeah, his drummer, Mo, I actually helped him get signed with Mapex Drums. And KB show, man. Oh man, he's so sick. But yeah, Mo is actually from here. He's from Jersey. So we grew up not too far from each other. And we used to grow up together playing with different gospel choirs and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super
oh, that's
shout out to Mo,
cool.
man. I'm sure that's crazy you just brought up KB because they're on tour now, I think. But
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so they're on Winter Jam tour, and me and my buddy Michael Huseman, I got to give him a shout out. We went to Winter Jam in Mobile, Alabama this past weekend, and it was Sunday night. And I'm used to when Winter Jam comes in that usually the pre-show, like we always buy the Jam Pass, and it's like tax and all, it's like 70 something dollars. You get to go in, you get a VIP lanyard, you get a nice T-shirt, and then sometimes you get to meet the artist. But now they have it to where they have another pass ahead of that. It's like 100 something where you get to meet all the artists. But then a lot of times I do a Q&A session and you get to ask the bands questions. Well, this time, um, we was at a right close to the college where they have it at South Alabama Jaguars. We was at the pizza place there, and the pizza place took forever to get our order. We finally got it. I got to looking at the showtime. I said, "Oh snap, we got to go. We're late." And I missed like the first half of Winter Jam, and luckily I got there just in time to see KB out there killing it.
Yeah,
And that's the second time I've seen him. And when he did that song "Church Clap," man, them people were going bonkers, man. It was awesome. Let me hear your church clap. Let me hear. And like that was
that's
lit,
it.
man.
Yeah,
And and he ain't afraid to share the gospel. He's not afraid to tell people his faith. And I just loved his performances and the way he carries himself. So what's it like? What's it like meeting him?
meaning who? I'm sorry.
Oh, KB.
Oh man, regular. You know, a lot of these guys are just, because I didn't really. So let me get this out the way. I didn't know who
Sure.
he was. I didn't even know that gospel rappers and stuff was packing out arenas like that. But I knew Mo was on tour with a guy named KB. I was seeing tag his name, but I never really paid attention to the words. I would just watch clips of him playing drums. So when they came to Nashville, he called me up, and actually me and the drum rep for Apex Drums, we went to the show, and I didn't know what I was in store for. It wasn't until he got on stage and I was like, oh snap, like this dude's an actual gospel rapper. And seeing the whole crowd and everybody go crazy. So, I wasn't really a fan yet. I didn't even know who he was. I was just there to support his drummer. But now I'm a fan, so it was pretty cool. So when I met him, it was just like, like it was something, man. Nice to meet you. Cool, you know. But yeah, he's a dope artist, though. I listen to his music now.
That is awesome. That's a cool story right there. He's I was telling somebody yesterday, maybe, I was talking about him. I said, man, I said he makes Eminem look like a baby rapper. He can wrap circles around him.
Yeah, that
And
might be pushing it a little bit.
another one is you ever seen listen to or seen Lecrae?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's
We knew of Lecrae before the world did. That's some guys. That's church right there. So a lot of those
yeah
guys, we before the world, got attached to them. We already, you know, seen them perform so many times.
yeah. I was like, I saw him. I've seen him twice, and I saw him at Winter Jam last year. And I was sad to hear that Lecrae is retiring from music. And he says he is. Who knows? He may be like one of those that say they're done, then they come back. But um, he puts on a good show too. I was very impressed.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, who are some influences that you have in music?
And music, man, actually, like my uncle was my one of my biggest influence. He passed in 2004, but he was a huge influence to me music wise. He was a singer and an organist and pianist. So I looked up to him a lot. I got a older brother that plays bass, professional bass player. He plays for Lauryn Hill and Jasmine Sullivan. Like I look up to him, and I look up to like certain bands, Prince, Mint Condition. Like I'm a huge Mint Condition fan. Like I practiced to them a lot growing up. So yeah, they were my biggest influences.
Wow, that is awesome. So you were born with a set of drumsticks in your hand.
Yeah, yeah, man. I was, and then, they somehow got me a real drum set, and it worked. It worked.
So, what is the biggest show you have ever done or played?
The biggest, um, I would say Red Rocks.
Say Red
Red,
Rocks.
yeah, Red Rocks was the most. I mean, because it's such a legendary amphitheater, and it's like I feel like that's one of every musician's bucket list to play there.
I would say
So
so.
so our manager for Struggle at the time had like rented like the new Cadillac, and our producer. You ever heard of our producer Scatterbrains?
Yes, yes, DJ, yeah, Scatterbrains, yep.
So Scat, me and Scat, they had us hotel together. So we had to go to sound check. They was gearing up the sprinters and stuff to take us, up. And the manager was like, "Yo," he was like, "I know how much this mean to me." Wise, because I was like, man, I was like, yo, we play at Red Rocks. Like, what the hell? Are you serious, right? So he gave us the keys to the Cadillac and was like, you know, y'all go ahead and drive up. And man, like we turned the windows down, turned the music, made sure our Bluetooth was right, turned the music all the way up. We driving up the mountains, man, and we just looking like at each other like, yo, dude, and it was sold out too. So we like, man, we gonna play the sold out Red Rocks, man. And it was the day after my birthday.
Oh, cool.
The whole flight there, the day before, we was flying all day to get to Colorado, so I spent my birthday on airplanes, what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, but man, when we got there and got to see all them beautiful rocks and walk through the venue, I walked all the way up the steps and stuff like that. It was and just to walk through the halls and see all of the amazing artists that have performed there before, like it was a different type feeling, man. So
That is cool.
Red Rocks Amphitheater, Colorado is my
So for
favorite,
those that don't
venue.
know what that is, you need to look it up. I've seen pictures, videos. It's just a big, gigantic mountainside of rocks, and they made an amphitheater out of it. That's got to, yeah, that should be on everybody's bucket list.
Drink a lot of water though, because being that high up it'll get you.
Because Colorado, I've never been to Colorado, but they say it's so hard to like it's hard to breathe and just
It's
it's
cold.
the air is different.
Oh yeah, super different.
Man, that's cool. And I'm sure it was packed out too.
Oh yeah, sold out.
That is awesome. So do y'all currently have y'all's 2025 dates up?
No, not yet. Not yet. It will be soon. This Friday, he's dropping a song. Only God knows with him and Jelly Roll. So
Very cool. Him and Jelly Roll go back a long ways.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So have you heard the new Hallelujah song with Jelly Roll and Brandon Lake?
No, I heard like snippets of it because we follow each other on Instagram, but I
Sure.
haven't I haven't listened to the song. Man, honestly, when I'm home, man, I listen to I listen to different types of stuff, man. Like I listen to rap, I listen to fusion stuff, and so I don't really like. I don't really be listening to a lot of people's music, like that.
Sure. Sure. I hope that 'cause Brandon Lake, he's a big Christian artist. I don't listen to a lot of his stuff, but I've heard a lot of people say by him and Jelly Roll doing this song together. I think for one, he's a great influence to Jelly Roll,
Yeah.
and he could possibly lead him to Christ. You know, that'd be awesome. And I love seeing stuff like that. And I I've been to a
Well,
lot of concerts.
Jelly Roll is a Christian though.
That's right. That's well. I
Yeah.
kind of wondered because he's always talked. You know, I've always heard him, but I didn't know for
See,
sure whether he.
see, the thing about those guys, they don't really like, they don't really talk about it. They're outspoken about it because
Sure.
of what they got going on. But I single him like first of all, that dude. The first time I met him, when I did a show for Eye for an Eye,
Uh
we was in the back. Of
huh.
course, everybody smoking weed, doing their whole thing. And before the show was about to start, he made everybody get in a circle, made everybody take their ball caps off, and I'm like, "What's going on?" He said he prayed. He prayed for like 15 minutes, and
Wow.
the way he prayed for me was like, "Oh, this dude, he loved God." You know what I'm saying? So that was when I solidified that, and of course, I know he loved God. So, and then with struggle wise, I didn't really know where he was at with it until one day, my first tour with him, like probably like a weekend. Like we never, like we sat down and and talked and stuff like that, but we never really like got a one on one to see where each other is from in life and just talk. So he called me to the back room on the tour bus, and this dude is back there talking about scriptures and about how when he was in jail, he's reading the Bible and stuff like that. So these guys possibly know God more than people think. For real.
That is awesome.
Yeah, they don't talk about it as much, but just yeah, those dudes know their Bible, man.
That is awesome. That is cool. That's cool to know that because um they can make a big influence on their fans, and I know you do because you tell everybody, say, "Hey, I'm a Christian. I grew up in the church. I play the drums." You're playing the drums for Jesus, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And more than that, from for what all I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like being strung out on drugs at a young age. I was strung out on drugs for 4 years. So it was like, I had a lot to have to get myself together to be able to continue this road of success that I'm on, because I had a 4 year pause, smoking freaking PCP, had me, I was still playing, but it was like God still had certain doors shut because he knew if he opened them, I would destroy him, because I had to get myself together first. And then, doors and stuff started happening for me. Tours and stuff started happening. All these endorsements and stuff started to happen. So yeah, man, I'm super grateful for that.
Ain't it amazing how if you just listen to God and do what He says, how
Yeah,
many doors He'll open up for you?
yeah. You gotta be patient, man. You gotta be patient, and you gotta just continue to trust him. Because my personal opinion, I feel like he sometimes try to see how much faith you got in him. You got some people that just so impatient and want stuff to happen so fast. Don't get me wrong. I wanted stuff to happen overnight until I had to get my brain like, man, that's not how it works. It'll happen, but it's gonna happen on his time. And when it
Boom.
happens, you gotta be ready for it because it's gonna you start shooting, you start shooting them joints at you. You know.
And
So yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like overwhelming sometimes. It's
you
overwhelming
know,
for the stuff that he does for me.
that's amazing because I just experienced that recently where I had to so like for instance, I just had hernia surgery recently. And uh I had it so this will be my second one I've had, and golly power's trying to go out again. And anyways, this time I was at a different hospital because the hospital down the road from me shut down. Sadly, it was a brand new hospital, hadn't even been open 2 years. And the hospital shut down. And so when it shut down, the doctor I had used for my previous surgery wasn't there. And so I had to have my surgery in the big city. And so I went up there to a hospital called Mobile Infirmary, and I went up
Mm-hmm.
there and had my surgery. Well, the day I was having the surgery, like I take these. You ever seen those life books?
Yeah. Yeah.
They get little red books the Gideons pass out. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you can get those for free from the Gideons. They'll send you a box of like 300 of them, or how many come in a box, and they'll send them free as long as you give them your address. And
Right.
so I take them, and then I've got a stamper. I stamp my ministry logo in the stamper. I mean, in the front page,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the Book of Mark. So I pass them out to everybody because it's free. And so every doctor, especially the one that did the surgery on me, his name was Dr. Otts. And
Yeah.
every nurse that I come in contact with, I either gave them a life book, or when I ran out of life books, I was disappointed because I didn't have any more.
Right.
But I asked every person I come in contact with in that hospital, I said, "Hey, do you know Jesus?"
Mm-hmm.
And every one of them said yes. Now,
Wow.
it wasn't my call to, you know, whether they really knew Jesus or not, but that's just still
Yeah.
cool that, yeah. Whoa, power went out again. So then talking with like these different nurses, CNAs that come checked on me after I had my surgery, I even asked them, I said, "Hey, do you know Jesus?" And then some of them, we had an in-depth conversation. "Hey, I go to church so and so," or I'm like, "Wow, that is awesome." Well, I get done at the hospital, I have to stay overnight. And normally
Right.
when you have hernia surgery, you leave and go home the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, had to stay overnight. The doctor explained why the next day. And I shook his hand and I said, "Thank you for saving me." I
Right.
said, "That really meant a lot to me." And I told him, I said, "God loves you." And so I take these, like I take these wooden crosses here,
Mm-hmm.
and I make these by hand and I stain them and I put two nails in the bottom. And so I
Mm-hmm.
made one for him. And when I went back for my follow up appointment, I had his name on the front. I always put a Bible verse. I burn a Bible verse on there. And I gave
Mm-hmm.
him that. And I said, "Hey, here you go." I said, "God loves you." And he was tickled so much by that he
Right.
told me, he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm going to put that in my office. I appreciate that." And
Wow.
so after all that, at first I was like, God's got something better lined up for me after this. But then I got to seeing it the other way. I said, "You know what? No, God had me in that hospital to tell people about Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Allowed allowed me to get hurt, or so I could tell people at that hospital about Jesus. Because if I hadn't got hurt, I wouldn't have been in there telling them.
Right. Right. For sure.
And it's amazing how God works. And if you do what He asks you to do, He will bless
Mm-hmm.
you richly for it.
Yep. Yep.
And anybody that's watching this show here, I encourage y'all to, you know, if no matter what you're going through in life, it does not matter what it is. God's there. You can always turn to God. If you don't believe in God, just say, "Hey, I just seeing what Kareem and Jared's talking about. Maybe there is somebody out there that can help me." And say, "Hey, he's up there. Just say a prayer, and
No,
and and,
for
and
sure.
he'll help you."
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Because I can tell you this, ain't nothing too big for God.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, so I'm gonna play this song right here. So this is the song, track number one, "The Road I Came." So tell everybody about this song and what's it about.
All right, so, the song is "Road I Came." Uh, he was going. I think he was really going through a period of time in his life where he was trying to explain to people how you make mistakes and it's very hard, but he doesn't want to go back into those old ways, So when they came up with the melody, it was real mellow, and he actually wrote this like 5 minutes, So You put the melody together, and they let me listen to it. I listened to it a few times, and then I took about two takes and laid the drums down, and yeah, I just wrote I came.
Wow, that is awesome. So I'm gonna play this, and if you can't hear it, you can listen to it through Facebook. But let me click play here.
I fought tooth and nail for everything I've got. Oh, I've been locked up, drugged down, told them everything I'm not. I've lost it all and built it back again. I've been flat broke, no hope, told them just a failure of a man. And at the end of the day, I give thanks. I've got a good heart. I've made some big mistakes. I left the past behind me with the wind in my face. I got a fresh start. I've got the rest of my days. I'll never go back down the road that I came. Oh, they can speak their mind, say I forgot my friend, but I've slowed down, turned around too many times for them. And I don't know nobody but the Lord above. For the fact I'm right here, right now, feeding everyone I love. And at the end of the day, I give thanks. I've got a good heart. I've made some big mistakes. I left the past behind me with the wind in my face. I got a fresh start. I've got the rest of my days. I'll never go back down the road that I came. I know it ain't easy loving a man like me. I'll change my ways, so baby, please believe. I've got a good heart. I've made some big mistakes. I left the past behind me with the wind in my face. I got a fresh start. I've got the rest of my days. I'll never go back down the road that I came. I've got a good heart. I've made some big mistakes. I left the past behind me with the wind in my face. I got a fresh start. I've got the rest of my days. I'll never go back down the road that I came.
Wow, that is such a good song right there, and you can tell how good you are with the drums because there's bands you can listen to and you don't pay no attention to the drums, but this one you do because you're just so in tune with the song and it just hits perfect.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, that's y'all go to YouTube, type Struggle Jennings, and type in The Road I Came, and you can watch the video. And that is such an awesome video. What a great song. I love the line in the song when he
Yeah,
says, I don't owe nobody except the Lord above.
yeah,
Man, that's the way we all should be, you know?
yeah. for sure.
So you got any sponsors or anybody you want to thank?
Oh yeah, man. Of course, all of them, man. Start with Mapex Drums, man. Uh, Shout out to them. Shout out to Sabian Cymbals. Shout out to Innovative Percussion. Shout out to Juicy in there. It's my in air company. Shout out to Evans Drumheads. And just shout out to all of those companies, to the presidents and the reps and everybody who believed in me and took a chance and wanted to sign me. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a cool looking set of drums. Talk about them drums there.
Oh, these. So
Yes.
these have never been played before.
Oh, cool.
And so what happened was I have 26 I have 26 27 drum sets, but most of them are all in Nashville that I've used from different tours and stuff like that, so I kept them there. So when I moved back to Pennsylvania, um I didn't have no drums or nothing here, so I reached out to my drum company and was like, "Hey man, I need some drums at the house. I don't have nothing." So I was in LA, working with one of the artists, gospel artists I play for, named Doobie Powell, and my dad called me and was like, "Hey, there's Mapex boxes, at my grandma's house," and I was like, "What?" Because I told them I needed drums, but they didn't say when they were sending them or anything like that. So yeah, he called me when I was in LA. I was like, "Yeah, man, it's like 6 boxes out here." And I was like, "Oh snap, I take them in the house." So I got back to LA. I got back from LA, and it was you can't see them, but I got these drums stacked over here. They sent me these, and then I was fortunate enough to come home one day, and in my driveway, it was a pallet with like at least 15 boxes, and it was these. So
Wow.
they're pretty cool. It's like an ocean view drums, glossy. They're beautiful drums, man. But yeah, I never played them before. They fresh out the box, just stacked up.
Man, I love that color. That color just pops.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
So, so talk a little bit about Mapex. Are they American made drums?
Oh no, they're made in Taiwan.
Okay.
So, so I used to play uh, Tama drums. Tama drums are from out of Japan, and I played those for a while because growing up in like the Philadelphia church area and stuff like that, those was the professional drummers were playing either Mapex drums or Tama drums, but I had fell in love with Tama first, even though I love Mapex too. So but I was playing Tama first, and then when I started touring for Eye for an Eye, Tama had gave me drums to tour with those guys, and then it was unfortunate one of the guys in the group ended up getting locked up, so the group was no longer. So my drums stayed in Dixon, Tennessee. So when I got the call to do Struggle gig, it was already it was better for me because my drums were already there. So when they flew me to Nashville, I was like, hey, I just need y'all to take me to Dixon, get my drums. So toured with those drums with him for about a year and a half, and then they ended up giving me another drum set, and I toured with that one for about like a year. And a buddy of mine that plays drums for John Legend, a close friend of mine, Rashid Williams, he came to Nashville because Mapex Drum Factory is in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Very
So
cool.
they flew him there to do a drum video for some new drums they were dropping. So he called me up, of course, like, hey man, if you're not doing nothing, why don't you come down to the Mapex house, come hang with me. So went down there, hung with him, and he started asking me, we started talking drums, and there was a guy sitting at the other end of the table that, I shook his hand, but he really didn't say much, but cool. I just thought he was one of his buddies, whatever the case may be. So we're talking drums, and of course, when you feel as though you play the best, you're gonna rep it. So even though he's, my big brother and a close friend of mine, he's like, man, so what you like about Tama so much? Like, so I'm naming things, and he's like, well, Mapex can do this, Mapex can do that. So he looked at the guy at the end of the table and was like, hey man, let him come through the factory. So in my mind, I'm still not knowing who this guy is. We exchanged numbers. His name was Mark Bennett, and I was like, all right, taking me to a drum factory. I've never been to a drum factory in my life, like especially where I come from. It's like I ain't going through no drum factory. I don't get those type of privileges. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so in my mind, just from being let down from so many situations, I'm just like, this guy not gonna call my phone. And Sunday night, I'll never forget that, man. Text my phone. I was like, hey man, it's Mark. You're all set Monday to come into the office at 10 a.m. Come check out the factory. And I'm like, oh snap! Like I'm about to go check out a drum factory. Like I went to bed
Oh,
early that
cool.
night. Like I was excited, you know. I was so excited. So I wake up that next morning, I head down to Mount Juliet, and I see this big warehouse, and it's like, man, nah, I'm gonna walk inside of a drum factory. Like this is crazy, right? So we walk in, and then we walk in with a whole bunch of cute cubicles and stuff. Everybody on the phone and handling business. Said hi to everybody. Then walk through the back. Got to meet, other reps and guys who design stuff and do stuff. And then they gave me like this highlighter jacket, walked me through these two doors, and it was just like, wow, all of you talking about thousands and thousands of drums, right? So they're walking me through, showing me all the drums, showing me how they're made, showing me the machines and stuff like that, you know, let me see how the packages go out, because a lot of companies got a warehouse that's connected and got FedEx and all those UPS that come every day to ship stuff. And so I'm getting to see all of this stuff. So then we go back into his office, and the president of Mapex walks in, Jerry Golston, and I'm like,
Ooh.
okay, cool. So they sit down, we sit down, and so they ask me about my life. And I'm the type, man, where I come from. Like, I just tell her how it is. I'm like, man, like I used to be strung out on drugs. Like I play at church. Like I got kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just keeping it real with these guys and having a real conversation, right? So Mark Bennett, who I didn't know, was the actual drum rep for Mapex. He turns to his
Oh,
computer. He turns the computer on, and he clicks on Mapex Saturn series drums, and all of these colors pop up, right? And I'm just, I'm not thinking of it. In my mind, Rashid is looking out for his little bro and allowing me to see a factory. You know what I mean? That is clearly what's in my mind, right?
yeah.
So he turns to the computer and he says, "So hey man, what colors you like?" And I'm like, I'm still not thinking of it. I'm like, I looked at all the colors. I was like, man, that red that going to scarlet black is. I'm like, that's killing. He's like, all right. He's like, what you like to play on, like 5 piece, 6 piece, like naming the different levels of drums, how many drums. And I was like, man, I'm a church guy. I'm a 5 piece. How many snares? So we're saying all this, and he's clicking all of this stuff, right? And he was like, all right, man, well, this is your kit, and we're going to bring it to you tomorrow. And, welcome to Mapex Drums.
Wow.
And it happened. I was like, are you? Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, even when he told me like, all right, this is my kit, I'm like, man, I ain't got enough money. Cause drums ain't cheap. You talking about thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that was I didn't even realize I am picking out my drum set for Struggles tour, right in front of my face. And they brought the drums to me to SIR, to, the best rehearsal venue, in Nashville. Besides sound check, they brought the kit there. I set the kit up, and yeah, and every time, every kit, my next kit after that, I helped design it. We turned the turquoise and like a matte black. And then yeah, man, I got a lot of cool looking kits, man.
That is so cool. What a cool story, man. Like, that's another powerful story of how God works.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, I was just going in there and being real with those guys, and like I said, I just thought I was just gonna be able to see a factory and just going about my day. Like, I didn't know it was gonna turn into that, me signing the contract and building a relationship. Like these guys have put me on the map so much to like help skyrocket my career more than what it was, because they allowed me to do drum videos and push their product that helped me get signed to other bigger stuff too. So shout out to, man. If it wasn't for Mapex, when I got signed to them, everything just started changing for me when it came to drum and gear wise.
And it sounds like Mapex is like the drums of drums, like the number one brand you go to.
I mean, for me, it is. Don't get me wrong. You got all types of, just like you got Nike, Adidas, and you
Sure.
got all these different stuff, right? But for they are the top, you know. So, but you still got four other brands, five other brands that these other guys might feel are the top. But I feel like for me and my sound and what I got going on, like these drums best suit me.
That's awesome, and I'm sure
Like,
I'm sure a lot
possible.
of artists in Nashville use them.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So do you right offhand? Do you happen another website?
I think that MapexDrums.com.
Okay, MapexDrums.com. Okay. Well, if anybody needs any good set of drums, this man plays them. You can see him in the background. He's fixing to play those. That's where you go. MapexDrums.com. They got all kind of colors. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sick kid.
That's great. So, um, everybody, y'all make sure you share this live. Tell everybody about the live. And anytime you want to come on the show, have a Bible discussion, talk Jesus, play music, whatever, you're welcome to come on anytime.
For sure, for sure.
And
Always got you, man.
yeah, this has been really really cool. I've been looking forward to this. I've been sharing it like crazy. So right now we got 3 people watching, which is awesome. So and then we'll have more once the show ends. Then go back and watch the replay.
For sure.
And you got anybody else you want to shout out or anything else you want to say?
Man, I'm good, man. Just to all the musicians out there, man, just keep on keeping God first, man, and
I,
open doors for you, man.
I agree with that. So here's a question for you. What do you call Jesus working out?
I don't know.
Jehovah Fitness.
Fitness.
one of these days, one of these days when I get rich, I'm gonna have me a gym called Jehovah Fitness, and when you walk in, it's gonna be a picture on the wall of Jesus deadlifting.
Oh my God, Jehovah Fitness.
And I can't take credit for that one. Whoever come up with that one is genius.
For sure, for sure.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, and we're at the end of it here, but thank you, man. I enjoyed it.
Hey, thank you, man. Peace out, man.
And holler at me anytime you need anybody to talk to. You holler at me anytime. You got my number, so
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. See ya.
See you.
All right, great show, y'all. That was Kareem with Struggle Jennings, country rapper, country artist. I love that song. I played "The Road I Came," and so I got to get off the show here. Y'all pray for us. There's really violent storms here. You notice our power has been out for about 20 minutes. Yeah, power's been blinking on and off, so it's getting pretty bad here. They say that the winds are getting pretty violent tonight, so I hope and pray it doesn't get too bad. I hope the power crews don't get hurt out there trying to get our power back going. But appreciate everybody watching. Got a Coon Hunters Outdoors Ministries on YouTube. I have a new video on there. Like my page here, Coon Hunters Outdoors Ministries. Also like Quake Radio's Facebook, and we're live on the page I just pinned there. That is, thank you, Leonard. I appreciate that, Leonard. That is Quake Radio Productions YouTube that y'all are watching from. If you're watching from YouTube, so subscribe to the radio station's YouTube. And also, Kareem, I got to get y'all's music. If you got a good song that you would like played on our station rotation, I'll get it played on air, which is cool. With me being the marketing director, I can upload and play all kinds of music. So we play a lot. We play Christian worship music. We play Christian underground Christian rap music, and then we play Christian rock music. And I've even got a country song on there from Blake Shelton. Blake Shelton has a new song called Jesus Got a Tight Grip. And I got some Christian Southern rock from Van Zant. They just released a new album. So if it's Christian, we'll play it. It don't matter if it's country, whatever, because we play a little bit of everything. So, but I got to get off live here, y'all. Thanks for the shares. Thank you for watching, Leonard Phillips. God loves you. Thanks everybody. That was a really really great show. So, and if you want to donate to the radio station to help the radio station grow, we're a small online station. There's the link. They're scrolling across the screen there, or you can go to quakeradio.com to donate. Maybe one day, if it's the Lord's will, we'll have an FM station. But right now, we're just strictly online. We're small, super, super small. So give us a listen sometime. There's the link to listen, live365.com/station, Quake RC Praise News. Just go to live365.com and search Quake Radio. And we'll see y'all later. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, Leonard, and everybody else who commented. And I'm sorry I can't read my comments on my personal page because the power's out. So, bye.